Like most of you guys, I've already searched on Google on how to make money on internet. You know, to have some pocket money or to make ends meet. And actually, did you know that this question is one of the most asked on Google after how to become a hacker in PUBG? Well, did you know too that there are a lot of people that went rich using internet and have made a full-time job? Well, these, my friends, are called freelancers. Hello Internet and welcome to the PodTech Talk, where we break down the technology that is making your lives better. I am Mehdi, your host, and in today's episode we'll be talking about freelance. So in the end of this episode, maybe you would like to become one of them. So what is a freelancer? Basically, a freelancer is a self-employed person. It means he's not committed to any employer and is his own boss. But he has to have a set of skills, like for example in programming, web development, or writing, translating. Of course, these are just a set of examples, and you don't have to have all of the skills to be a freelancer. So basically, a freelancer will use his set of skills or his skills and offer his services to clients or customers like you and me, or even businesses. So I will give you a small example. Like imagine if you have a document or an article or a book that is in English and you want to translate it into Spanish. So maybe that you would go to an agency or a company that translates documents, or you could also go to a freelancer that have or can speak natively Spanish, and you will translate for you this document or in return of a reward, of course, or in return of a remuneration. And the second case where the businesses or companies will hire a freelancer, like imagine this case. There are a lot of cases when companies are dealing with a lot of projects and their employees are busy with these projects. And in the case where they have a new project to handle or a new project to manage or to handle, they cannot stop all their employees just for this project. So they hire freelancers that would do the job for them and in return of a remuneration, of course. So the project that a freelancer would take can be in long term as in short term. Like it could be a project like for 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, and even to a project for 1 day or 2 hours. Now, when talking about the remuneration, you have to know that the freelancer or remuneration of a freelancer is not the same as for a company. Like I will give you an example, as I am a software engineer or web developer. Like if you want to make a website, you have basically 2 choices or 3. Like you have the choice number 1, where you will learn some technologies to make your own website, or you can go to a web agency that would make the website for you, or the third option, you can call to a freelancer. So you guessed it, the fees for a freelancer are less than what the fees for a web agency. So the definition that I just gave you about freelance englobes or includes all kinds of jobs that you can imagine. Certainly, if you are here in Algeria, you would think that all Algerians are freelancers, since you can think about a plumber, an electrician, or a painter. Yeah, these persons are freelancers since they are self-employed. Like you wouldn't, there aren't a lot of companies or that have employees as painters or as electricians. So these people are self-employed too and are freelancers by definition. But in this video, we're not gonna focus on manual freelancer, I would say, but on freelancers that uses internet to get some money or get some benefits. So if you want to launch into freelance or online jobs, there are a lot of platforms, freelance platforms, like for example Fiverr, Upwork, or even TopTal. So there are a lot of platforms, freelance platforms that you could find on internet, but these are, I would say, the most popular ones. So in these websites or in these platforms, you can find mainly 3 actors. Like you will find the company, the customers, and the freelancers, of course. So in each platform, you will find its way of presenting things or presenting services. Like for example, you would find ones where there are freelancers that present their services. Like for example, you will find some some posts like, for example, I am Mehdi, I will make your website, or I am Mehdi, I will translate your documents. Or you could find in other platforms like a person or a customer that is searching for a service. Like, for example, you would find posts, hey, I want to build my website, or hey, I want to translate my documents. And after all, you don't necessarily need a platform like this if you want to launch into online freelancing. I mean, these are if you are starting, it could be really helpful, since you will know a lot of people and you will see how people or freelancers are presenting their product. But maybe only with Facebook or Instagram you could have a web page and you're presenting your services, like designing websites or doing graphic design, and people will know you if you are sharing your works or sharing what you have done. Okay, so now we're gonna do a top 5 of the most on-demand jobs in online freelancing. So in the first position comes the programmer. So when I say programmer, it includes web development, software engineering, and web application making, or other stuff in programming. So these are the most on demand because for now there are a lot of startups launching for now, and they need a lot of software engineers and programmers, and they cannot afford to hire for a full-time job a programmer or a software engineer. So what they do is that they hire some freelancers for a certain job, like for a certain time, like for 1 month or 2 months, and they are completely independent from him. Once he finish his work or finish his project, they pay him only for what he did. Then in the second position comes writers. So there are a lot of writers on freelancing jobs. So why do they write? They write some articles on internet. So like now there are a lot of free media journals or free media news that are in the internet, and they need some writers that write some articles and content for them. There is also designers. It's the same example for the programmers. There are some companies that cannot afford to hire a full-time job designer. Here, what include designer? It could be graphic designing or web designing, and these companies or people will hire a freelancer, or a designer, if they want to make their, for example, posts or designs, like for example logos. For many companies, they need a logo. They won't hire a designer just for making a logo or a graphic chart for them. Now in the fourth position comes translators. There are a lot of translators in freelance platforms, as there are a lot of interactions between people now, and there are a lot of articles that are made, especially in English. So if for example, I want to make my website text in charge another language, I have a website fully in English, and I want to translate my articles in Spanish or Italian, I will call up to a freelancer that would make the job for me. And now in the last position, there are a lot of freelance jobs and a lot of freelance services, but these are from my experience and on my research too, because I've seen that these are the most on demand. So like I said, in the last position comes the video producer. So there are a lot of videos that are made today on social media, that are shared on social media, and they need some video producer to make their videos or edit their videos. So now what we're gonna do in this part of this video, we're gonna cite the pros and cons of freelancing. After that, you can decide on whether or not you should take this path of freelancing. So the first pro, or the major advantage of being a freelancer, is the freedom and flexibility. You might work from home, work from a coffee, or work wherever you want and whenever you want. So you haven't a boss that tell you that you have to be at your work or at your desk at 9, and you will work from 9 to 4 p.m. So you are completely free, and you are completely free to set your work time. Like for example, there are a lot of people that prefer to work at night, especially programmers. They prefer to work at night. So that's why there are a lot of programmers and web designers as software engineers that prefer the path of freelancing because they are completely free. The second thing is you have the choice. I mean, you have the choice to pick up the projects that you want to make, or the projects that you want to handle. Like, for example, if you are an employee, you haven't the choice. Like, if your boss comes to you, like, you have to make this for us, and you can tell him, like, I don't want to make it. But if you are a freelancer, you have the choice of accepting or refusing a certain project. You are completely free. Now, the third, I would say, you have the possibility of working alone. Like, it can be a pro, it can be a cons, it can be an advantage, or as it can be a drawback. But I don't know if it already happened to you, but if you have a lack of working in group and working with other people, so a lot of freelancers choose this path because they have the ability of working alone. So now comes the cons and the drawbacks of being a freelancer. I would say the first thing would be the unpredictability. Like, there are some months where you will work a lot, like you will have a lot of customers, a lot of projects to do, and a lot of benefits. But there are other months where you will not work at all. So, and the second thing also is you have no retirement plan and no insurance. So what I would advise for you guys if you are launching in freelancing for these two main points is to put your benefits or your money in a bank account and make yourself a salary and save for your insurance and save for like your retirement plan. The third drawback I would say is the separation between your personal life and your professional life. Like, most of freelancers are working from home now, and it's really difficult to separate between your personal life, I mean between your family. They have to understand that you are working from home, you're not just sitting on your desk or something. And you really need to make the difference between these two lives. The fourth thing is you need to be disciplined. I mean, I told you that freelance offers you a lot of flexibility and freelance, and you can work wherever you want and wherever you want. But you still have to be disciplined because there are no boss this time to tell you that you have to work on or something that tracks your productivity. So you really need to be disciplined enough to make good work and to make a lot of benefits. Another cons is you have to be like a multi-hat. So a lot of freelancers now are offering a lot of services, like they could be a programmer, they could be a web designer, or they could be even some writers. So you would see in their profiles that they can do a lot of things, which is good. I mean, I cited some cons that can be good for you, like to be disciplined and you to be multi-hat. But if you are not one of these, maybe that freelancing is not for you. And now the major problem with freelancing that I dealt with is dealing with clients. I mean, I will share with you my experience as a web developer. Like, there are some times when you are making something for clients, like it would take just 10 minutes, like one day for making their websites, like a basic website. But they're always after you to make some changes, and now I don't like this and I don't like this. So with a project of maybe 2 days on one day, you end up doing it in 1 month or 2 months. Another thing that might happen with your clients, like for example, it happens a lot to me, like a client comes to you with an idea of a Mark Zuckerberg idea, like make me a software or a social media or something. Like, yeah, you are a freelancer, but you are not a web agency or something. You cannot make some projects that are higher than you, or you cannot make some projects that you cannot make. So you really need to know how to deal with your clients and know what you can do and what you cannot do. And you have to learn to say no to some people. So now that I cited some of the cons and pros of freelancing, I don't want to dive you into a way of freelancing that you might not like, or maybe not like it, or it wouldn't be for you. But I mean that there are a lot of people, I know that a lot of people that succeed in freelance and made a lot of money. Like, I know some people that made like $50,000 per year, and they are Algerians here living in Algeria. So it's really good path, but again, it's not for everyone. So about freelance here in Algeria, I would recommend you to go to the Facebook group called Algeria Freelancers. So these are amazing people that would give you some advices and how to start and what are the things that you need to avoid and what are the things that you should do. So it's a really good community. I advise you to check up on it. So now we come to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you are thinking now about being a freelancer. So I hope that you enjoyed it and learned some new informations. Thank you guys for watching, and catch you guys on the next one. Peace. I dedicate this episode to my young nephew Adam that made 1 year old today, and I wish you a good life for you and for your parents. I don't know if you're gonna see this video when you get older, but I hope you will do and you see your uncle saying happy birthday to you for your first time through this camera.
Happy birthday!